Good morning, Rotarians. Thank you for joining us. This club meeting is called to order. Very shortly here, I'll be sharing the screen and leading us through another fun presentation to direct the conversation. Periodically, I'll bring the screen sharing down so we can see each other's beautiful and friendly faces and have a little bit more dialogue. So feel free to speak out as you would during an in-person meeting. But if you're not using your microphone, be sure to put yourself on mute, or maybe I'll do it at the cost of a club fine. So here we go. Beautiful screen sharing action happening now. Hey, welcome everybody to the Fortuna Sunrise Club meeting for October 21st, 2020. And that's volume 17 of my presidential year. I'm almost 20, guys. And next slide. We have an amazing Rotary Club, and I'm so thankful to be a part of it. At this time, I'm going to bring down the screen share, and we're going to introduce some of our guests. This morning, we have Dr. Emily Kirsch from Eddie Alexander.
Hi, everybody, and my puppy. It's me and my puppy this morning.
Yeah. What's the puppy's name?
We just figured out a name. Her name is Tiki.
Tiki. All right. Give it up for Emily. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Morning.
And we also have Daniel Milich from Security Lock and Alarm joining us as a guest. Hello, Daniel.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, let's see. I'm going to do one quick swoop here, see if there's anybody else. Oh, we have from the Fortuna Noon Club, Diana Rios, it looks like.
Good morning, everyone.
Thank you.
Hey, we're twins.
You guys look so...
No, she's muted.
Okay. So let's get back to this fun screen sharing action here. Okay. Thank you for joining us, everybody in the club as well. So typically at this time we'd be doing a flag salute, but since our meeting has moved to virtual, a little American history lesson has been kind of my theme. So did you know that on this day in 1949, excuse me, 2 seconds here. All right. Did you know that on this day in 1949, Harry S. Truman appointed the first female federal judge in the nation, Bernita Shelton Matthews from Hazelhurst, Mississippi. So that was today. And our inspirational message of the day. I slept and dreamt that life was joy. I awoke and saw that life was service. I acted, and behold, service was joy. And the four-way test, we're gonna let Kurt Wise take the floor this morning and tell us about that. So Kurt, take it away, my friend.
Good morning. Of the things we say or do, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned?
Yeah.
Thanks.
Awesome. Thank you, Kurt. And announcements for today. Our backpack program is back. I think we're on week 2. Steve Garrison, you got any short updates? Do we need help?
Short updates, yeah. I'm almost done with the Sign Up Genius, inputting the names.
Okay.
I should be done by tomorrow. We've done it for the past 2 weeks. We're up to 82 bags. We could use a little help today. It's at 3:15 for about an hour at the Gene Lucas Center. You'll see us outdoor on one of the decks out front by the Springville room. So if anybody can join us, just holler toward the end of the meeting and let me know. So because we only need about 1, maybe 2 more people. One of the regulars from the Family Resource Center isn't able to be there today. So anyway, and look forward to getting that sign up out, and please look for it and pick a date. Thank you. Super.
Thank you so much, Steve. And for folks that aren't aware, our backpack program is not physical backpacks, but when it first started out, it was like that. But we give food to families in need so that they have a little extra food over the weekend, right? Kind of hold them over if the only food or their main food source is the school lunches and whatnot and breakfast. So really cool program. Thank you, Steve. Saturday, October 24th, that's this Saturday coming up, 4 to 5 p.m. is the foundation celebration. So it is kind of the culmination of the year. I'm sorry, the foundation celebrations from 5 to 6. The district, what do you call it? The district conference? District conference. Sorry, I didn't put that in the notes there. The district conference is this Saturday, October 24th from 4 to 5. It's free. All you have to do is register, and you should have gotten a personalized link in your email, and then the foundation celebration will follow that. That is 5 to 6 p.m. So check that out and celebrate Kathy Flamson's year as district governor, which was unique to say the least. Also, World Polio Day is this Saturday. So we have been kind of ramping up celebrations for that. And one of the things that we're doing in lieu of not being able to do Purple Pinky Day is we're doing Purple Flamingos, Purple Flamingo flocking. So yesterday, our first 2 locations got flocked. Who will be next? I wonder. And then November 13th and 14th, 2020, this year, our annual International Fair project, which will be online. So check that out as well. Okay. And Heather Kelly, get ready because it's about that time for you to take the floor. We have this morning, Heather Kelly is going to do her craft talk, which is part of getting your blue badge with this club. When you first start out, you get your red badge, and you have to do 3 things. One is attend another club's meeting. Another one is to go to our club's board meeting. And the last thing is what she's going to do this morning, which is craft talk. And so it's just telling us a little bit about yourself, your occupation, so on and so forth. So we'll pass it over to Heather Kelly to take the floor.
Thank you. Good morning.
Morning.
So I'll start by saying that I think there are 2 different types of people in the world. There are those that like to speak in front of groups, and then there's the rest of us normal people. So I don't necessarily like speaking in groups, but I thank you for this opportunity just to share a little bit about myself. Fun fact number 1, I use sarcasm and attempted humor when I'm uncomfortable. But I am actually, I feel honored to give a little bit of just history about myself, my family, because I think most of you don't really know who I am or why I'm in Rotary or what brought me here. So anyways, born and raised in Fortuna, so I've lived here my whole life. So most of you should know me. Let's see. So Steve and I have been married we just celebrated our 21st wedding anniversary in June. We've been together since 1996. And our family, we have 3 children. Michael, who just turned 26, and he lives in San Diego. He works for Northrop Grumman doing contract negotiations. And then we have the twins that are seniors at Fortuna High this year, and they are definitely ready to spread their wings, already looking towards college for next year. Jaden is looking at following his brother down towards San Diego, and Dakota's looking up towards Oregon. So that's crazy for me to think of them separated. We are sending them down to spend next week with their brother in San Diego. So I'm hoping that Dakota will also fall in love with that area and they'll all end up together, but highly doubt that that'll happen, but I can wish. So our family is like my most important thing to me, other than my faith. We are a pretty introverted family. So most of our time is spent at home. I think the biggest thing I've missed during this pandemic is having a house full of teenagers, because that's just what brings me joy. Our house is normally full of them. So I've had to kind of adjust this year in preparation for when they leave for college next year, and we'll have an empty house. And that'll be, then learning other ways to bring joy. So since we're introverted, though, we do spend most of our time at home. Lots of board games, dice, cooking, gardening. we've kind of made our backyard into our little resort. So we've got, the swimming pool and that. So we've found a reason to never leave when we don't want to. So in that area of the pandemic, this has been kind of us living our best life. When we're not at home, we like to spend time in nature. So a lot of camping, hiking. I love kayaking. Though hiking, I only do local day hikes, only because I've had to be rescued twice on hiking adventures in the past, and I just don't want to risk that again. My kids don't like when I go out anymore because they never know if the helicopter is going to have to go find me or the horses or whatever. So I play it safe now. Other things just personally about me that are things that I love. I love writing. I've actually been working on a book probably for the last 10 years and hope to have it published maybe in the next 20. You don't want to rush into those type of things. But I love writing and I love reading. I normally have at least 2 books going at a time. Currently, I'm just finishing the Hate That You Give, which I know has been made into a movie. And I have this weird little quirk that I won't watch movies until I've read the book, if there's a book first, because I don't want to see other people's characters in my mind when I'm reading the story first. So I'm looking forward to finishing that book so I can see the movie. I've heard it's good. What else? Our family loves basketball. So we're going, and we've definitely missed that during this time. It's kind of weird watching even on TV without, the fans being there and stuff. So, but it is something we enjoy doing as a family. So I think my job history tells a lot about who I am as well. I started off as a legal secretary for 8 years in family law and probate. So people, when they're getting an attorney for either one of those, normally are at a pretty low part of their life. You see them at kind of their most vulnerable stages. From there, I went into children's ministry, where I just love the innocence of children and their openness to life and ideas. But also when you work with children, you see a lot of, hurt and trauma as well. But there's that opportunity to just give them a little bit of hope, even if no matter what they're going through. From there, I was led into healthcare. And I started working at a clinic, an OBGYN clinic. And that allowed me to obviously see life growing, which is amazing. And then on the other side, it has, there's times where life is just gone too soon. So there was some of the best time spent in that clinic, and then some of the saddest things that you'll see as well. From there, I became an administrative assistant at St. Joseph Hospital, and I worked for, I think in my 5 years as administrative assistant, I worked for probably like 7 or 8 different vice presidents during that time. And I learned a lot about just the operation of every department by working in administration. I worked for 2 of probably my favorite bosses that I will ever work for. They just pushed me beyond my limits. They believed in me, and because of their pushing is what made me go back to school and get my degree in healthcare management. So once I finished my degree, I went into the community benefit department at St. Joseph Hospital, and as the operations manager. And during that, I got to work really closely with the Latino population and with the homeless population. We have St. Joe's has 5 community resource centers. And so we did things like the backpacks, for kids, and just taking care of some of the most vulnerable people. And then on the other hand, the other part of the community benefits was when people are come into the hospital and they don't have health insurance, they don't have family to support them, and how, especially like with the homeless and they're being released from the hospital, what happens to them. And so just providing them a place to heal during that time. And then of course, my most recent position was working with adults with disabilities, find community integrated employment. So you can probably see a little bit of a pattern here through all the different things, but that my passion is just service and working with the vulnerable populations and those in need. And so that's what brought me to Rotary. That's why I wanted to be part of Rotary, was to just serve beside like-minded people, and not just to help our personal community and empower them, which is always my first, of course, passion, because born and raised here, I just love our community and I want to continue to empower people, but also just the communities everywhere. So I love that this is an international thing and there's ways of serving beside each other and helping larger world needs as well. So that's what brought me here. And I just look forward to, learning more each about you guys, and grow relationships while serving beside you.
Awesome.
And I know that wasn't no 12 minutes or anything, Simon, but that's
that was amazing, Heather. Thank you so much. You did a great job. For someone who doesn't enjoy speaking, you did a fabulous job. And it was great to hear a little bit about you and your journey and your passions. And so I think that you're going to be a great asset to our club. So thank you so much. And she's been part of our flocking committee, and her writing skills were put to the test on the little one sheet that we put on the back of the sign. So thanks for that, Heather. I look forward to more service alongside you. So
thank you.
Excellent. Cool. And these craft talks are a great way to get to know people, and that's another reason why we have craft talk as one of the balls that you get in the weekly drawings every week, so that maybe some of the Rotarians who did their craft talk a few years ago might be able to share those things again with our newer club members, so they get to know you as well. Okay, so let's go back to the screen sharing. Being an art educator, every week I've been sharing a little bit of art. I'm gonna do more of a succinct presentation this week and not go fully in depth. So I'm just going to show kind of a glimpse into the artwork of one person, kind of getting in the theme of the holiday that's just about to come up. So sharing my screen again. All right, so this week our art of the week is the art of Bernie Wrightson's Frankenstein. And Bernie Wrightson was a comic book illustrator, and few works by comic book artists have earned the universal acclaim and reverence that Bernie Wrightson's illustrated version of Mary Wollstonecraft Shelley's Frankenstein was met with in its original release in 1983. Many years later, this magnificent pairing of art and literature is still considered to be one of the greatest achievements made by any artist in the comic book field. And a used copy hardcover of this little treasure is going for about $215 I saw online. So it is, it's a very sought after piece, and you can tell by the illustration style in this how just fabulous it is, just so detailed. And it's probably hard to see the level of detail, so I'm going to do a close-up shot. But we've got 3 pictures, I think, on the screen here. We've got Frankenstein in a like an office or a study with tons of books in the background. We've got the Frankenstein character in a box with kind of like a straw-lined box, and then we've got the doctor and Frankenstein laying out on a table. And I'm going to zoom in a little bit and show you the detail on that first panel, just so you can can see the level of detail that he accomplished in this piece, because it's magnificent. So take a look here. This artist, Bernie Wrightson, he uses a lot of a technique called cross-hatching, right? Where you do these kind of lines that go forward, you know, or cross each other, basically. They make little X's, or sometimes they'll just go in one direction. And he uses that to describe value, right? The level of darkness and lightness in a scene, and just his ability to illustrate every single detail in a scene. If you look at the bookshelf in the back here, you know, no stone was unturned. Every book is described. There's little pieces of paper hanging out from in the between the books. It's just amazing, amazing work. So anyway, if you want to do a deeper dive, or maybe look at an online copy of the book, I'm sure there are a lot less expensive than 215 books. I'd highly suggest it. Plus, it's also got a very awesome novel that's paired with it. So anyway, moving on. We're going to do a fun little exercise called Guess the Artist. And since we're looking at comic book art, I thought we would dive a little bit more into that. How about I call on Rotarian Steve Garrison this morning to play this game? Steve, you there? Maybe? Yeah, I see you.
I am now unmuted, yes.
Killer, thank you. So Jack Kirby is an American comic book artist, writer, editor, and widely regarded as one of the medium's major innovators, one of the most prolific and influential creators. So Steve, can you tell us which one of these art pieces is by Mr. Jack Kirby? So
No.
1, 2, or 3.
Let's see, eeny, meeny. Well, because of the subject we've just discussed, I'll pick number 1, but I think that's there to trick me.
Yes, you are so correct. So that is Tales from the Crypt number 1, and that's by Jack Davis, another Jack in the comic book field. And you'll notice that I got number 1 issues of all 3 of the comic books that I'm showing you. Nice job, Steve, but a $5 fine for you for not getting it right. And I'm kind of depleting the people. I think I've gone through about the club, so I'm going to double back to our first person that we had play this game, and that'd be Fred Robinson. Are you still there? You got a 50-50 chance if you're there, Freddie. Maybe? Let's see. I'm doing a scan quickly. Yeah, I see him. He's unmuting. Or maybe your son could play and place you. Huh? He's like, where's the unmute button? Here, how about that? Did that help you? Hey.
2.
You're going to go with 2. That is the cover of Action Comics number 1, the first appearance of Superman, but also incorrect. That's a $5 fine. That's Joe Shuster. The correct answer was Captain America number 1, done by Jack Kirby, where we've got this beautiful illustration of Captain America punching Nazis. Yeah. Okay. Thanks for playing, everybody, whether you like it or not. So each week I'm recognizing a Rotarian and creating a little pictorial of them. And this week we do not have a pictorial, but I am going to recognize a couple people from the club just quickly, and then we'll get on to our program. So who will get recognized this week? Huh? Who's going to be the first person to get recognized? Let's see. Look here. It's Ross Rowley. Ross, what? Oh, look, he's wearing the flamingo outfit in tandem. So suspicious person, Ross Rowley. So according to the Fortuna Police Department crime graphics website, a subject was standing on the corner of 9th and Main dancing in a flamingo suit. Can you tell us a little bit more about this, Ross?
Halloween? What's Halloween?
I think it's a little early.
Well, I would say on this streak, or first thing in the morning, one thing we did notice is we were trying to make people aware of World Polio Day coming up this Saturday, is that construction workers at 7 p.m. are pretty grumpy and will not look you in the eye if you're wearing a flamingo suit. But then on that afternoon, at the corner of Kenmar and Fortuna Boulevard, boy, it was bustling, and people seemed to love the guy. I'm guessing there were other birds flown in my direction, so you know that was But you know what? Simon and I made money that day. We actually had a donation from a car who drove up and gave us $2. So we feel we're on a roll for ending polio now. So that's what that was all about, Simon.
Yes, awesome. Thank you, Ross. And I really appreciate you getting out there. And you are always the first one to step up for ridiculous ideas and just do them like, you know, with zero inhibition. I mean, squawking at cars with their windows open, all the fun stuff. But, you know, getting on the Fortuna Police Department's website, I mean, that's got to be worth, I don't know, $5-7. What do you think?
$7 would be great because it makes it difficult to calculate later. I'll take it.
Okay, $7, difficult to calculate later. And then there's one last Rotarian I'm going to recognize this morning, or maybe not so much the Rotarian, but look here, whose furry friend is this? Anybody going to fess up before I call him out here?
Is that Wiley?
That's Wiley. I think there's a celebration for Mr. Wiley happening today, or maybe yesterday. Frank, Ramos, can you tell us some more about this?
Yeah, that's our little guy, Wiley. He turns 8 years old today. He's a rescue from Miranda. We got him when he was 4 months old, and he's a quirky little guy, but we love him, and he's cost us a lot of money. I had never really had a pet as an adult before, never knew how expensive they were, but we love him. And yeah, he turns 8 today.
Oh, well, congratulations, Wiley, and congratulations, Frank. I think $5, right? Or wait, no, 8. How about 8? 8th birthday, $1 a year.
$8 is good for me.
That's the smallest bill that you've got for that dog, right?
Yeah, actually it is.
Awesome, excellent. And is there any other Rotarian that wants to share anything this morning?
Hey, Simon,
Yes,
you know,
sir.
if you're finding $1 a year, I think it's Scott Downey's birthday today.
Oh,
And I think it's 80 something, but
that's probably why he's not on the call this morning.
that could be, yeah. So I just thought you should know that, yeah.
Well, thank you, thank you. We'll have to make some plans for that gentleman later.
Simon.
What's that? Oh, Kurt, please.
Yeah, I wasn't at the last 2 meetings because we did a little road trip. Went to right outside of Salt Lake City for a couple of days. Did a lot of driving, 1,800 miles round trip, but it was good to just be away for a little while. I went to my brother's house. Hung
Excellent.
out there for a while. So
What was the best meal you had? Because, you know, when traveling, you got to eat something.
oh boy. Did a lot of stuff. I'm trying to think. Jeez. Went to a pumpkin patch and had a really good burger.
Yum. Hey.
And I watched all the little kids run around in circles and get crazy. It was really fun.
Beautiful. All right.
Yeah, it
Kurt.
was a good trip.
Well, how much of that trip you think is worth?
Probably $20.
$20. All right. That sounds great. Give it up for Kurt. Thank you for taking a trip and putting a little money into the kitty for your Century Club. I think,
All right, thank you.
members are starting to get close. Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Well, I think at this time, I will pass it over to our program chair, Erin Dunn, who will introduce this week's program.
Hi, good morning, everybody. It is such a delight this morning to be able to introduce Dr. Emily Kirsch. Emily joined the Eddie Alexander team in September of 2019 as the on-the-ground liaison for Eddie Alexander's partnership with the City of Eureka to develop strategic tourism and branding initiatives. In her former position at Humboldt State University, Emily was responsible for marketing the beauty and assets of California's Redwood Coast to international partners, students, and their families. She earned her Ph.D. from the University of Minnesota this last May and lives in Arcata with her husband, Kent, who's an Arcata Police Department officer. And while the work that they did was Eureka specific, I think there's a lot to learn about the process and what they went through in marketing Eureka, and I look forward to her presentation. So Emily, take it away.
Thanks so much for having me, everybody. If I could have access to the screen share, I have a little PowerPoint I could take us through. Aha, I see it. Let me just get it going. I'll move you guys over here. All right, is that working? Awesome. Make it a little bit smaller. We got to get it perfect. So thanks, Erin. Thanks, everybody, for having me this morning. It's a pleasure, and thanks for letting my puppy sort of be a distraction at the first half of this experience. So as Erin said, I work with Eddie Alexander. I started in September. Prior to that, I worked at Humboldt State for about 11 years doing international marketing and recruitment. I'm also an HSU grad, so both my husband and I came up here to Humboldt County about 16 years ago, and my major was international studies and lived in China for a semester. So my educational background and a lot of my career was really higher education focused. And I also a Rotary member of the Eureka Southwest Rotary. So I'm going to see if attending this meeting will count. I'm still a red badge. So I'm going to see if if I can double count this. But it's such a pleasure to be a part of Rotary and to be invited here to chat. With my background in international ed, I'm going to get involved with some of the exchange programs with the students. So it's just really wonderful. And as Erin mentioned, I finished my Ph.D. in May related to ethical internationalization. So I was, as international students can be considered sort of a revenue driver for institutions. And I was interested to look at how that kind of intersects with their experiences here, and actually, they're humans, they're not just, dollar signs. So that's a lot about what my research was. But I use all of those skills quite frequently with Eddie Alexander. And I'll just introduce us very briefly, and then I'll chat a little bit about the project we're working on with the city of Eureka. So Eddie Alexander was founded by my boss, Jennifer, and her husband, Sean Eddie, in 2011. So they've been around almost 10 years now. It's a woman-owned small business. Jennifer came from a background with Fortune 500 companies, and she worked in DC. And then her and her husband moved to Roanoke, Virginia, and that's where the headquarters are. Small community, rural, kind of not too unlike Eureka and Humboldt County. And she just wanted to create, opportunities for an agency that works with, beautifully remote regions like her own, and that's how they got involved with City of Eureka. So we have offices throughout the United States. I am the sole representative in the Eureka office, and I'm the main point for our work that we do with the City of Eureka. We are incredibly data driven, so I'll take you through some of the interesting data that we've uncovered for the City of Eureka project, and that also ties in with my research background. And we really see ourselves as partners with all of our clients. We like to be more partners than consultants. We like to really be integrated with the organizations we work with so we can provide a lot of value. We have a couple different sectors that we work with. With Eureka, it's primarily tourism, but overlapping into economic development, really hard to divorce the two. Higher education as well, professional services like financial advisory firms. We work in tech and as well as healthcare. So for the Eureka project, about 2 years ago now, the city decided to change their tourism marketing strategy. So instead of being one of the many places that travelers might visit when they come to see our beautiful redwoods and redwood coasts and oceans, Eureka wanted to be known as the place to stay and explore when a visitor plans their trip up here. There are a lot of historical, cultural, artistic assets in the city, but this project is not just about promotion, it's about creative visioning and cultural planning. So we were brought in to help the city develop a brand, to work on tourism marketing, and then to tie all of this back into quality of life promotion. The whole point of bringing tourists up into our beautiful region is to encourage them to stay the night, spend money. So all of those tax revenues go back into increasing quality of life for the residents. So it's really important that we, continue to communicate that through all of this work. So the rebrand process, it was a 10-month process with a lot of community involvement. As I'm sure you know, in Fortuna, residents of Eureka love Eureka and feel very passionately about it. And we really wanted to make sure that their voices were heard and they were involved in the process so that the brand that we created was guided by the community and not just us coming in and saying, oh, here's like a nice logo and a website that we made for you. It was completely data driven from the community. So the first thing we did, we sent out a postcard inviting all residents and business owners to take a City of Eureka brand survey. So this went to every single house in the greater Eureka area, as well as to business owners. We got a pretty good response rate. 3,450 folks filled it out, and it was a lengthy survey. We asked all kinds of questions related to how long folks had lived in the area, if they left and come back, what words they thought of when they thought of Eureka. We just did a super comprehensive deep dive and allowed folks to kind of share all of their opinions and feelings about Eureka. We also asked, what they hoped that this project would bring, and quality of life, of course, rose to the top. And then we asked them to share, what are your can't miss Eureka locations when your friends and family come into town, because we wanted to understand, what do the citizens and residents really view as Eureka's assets. From all of that, we created a really comprehensive report and did 2 public community meetings where we invited community members to come in, listen to our findings, and validate them. So, here's what you said, here's what we heard. Is this correct? We didn't want to say, okay, you said all this and now we're off and running. We really wanted to have that second checkpoint. After the community meetings, we then went deep into brand development. So we developed out 8 different brand options that then underwent tons of iterations, and we held really targeted community focus groups. So we tried to include, all community stakeholders, citizens that provided really great insights in the survey. We also generated a listserv from that survey. We allowed folks to opt in if they wanted to continue to receive project updates. So from that list, we extended the invite for folks to participate in the process. From the community focus groups, we narrowed on in, and well, now it's not a secret anymore. The brand is revealed. You'll see it on the billboards coming into Eureka from the south and into Eureka from the north. And there's also a big giant banner on City Hall. And that brand actually rose to the top for all of the focus groups, which doesn't always work like that, but that was really great. We also did a lot of checkpoints with community stakeholders. We had regular meetings with city leadership to make sure that as the brand was being developed, that it was all moving in the right direction. We really hoped that we were going to be able to have a big giant celebration of the brand launch in April. Well, COVID had other plans for us, so we shifted that to a digital launch, which I'll talk about briefly next. And then kind of ongoing, so that was kind of the process that got us to the brand launch, but ongoing and continuously, we're doing research on traveler sentiment. Well, I'll talk a little bit about that. We're always developing and iterating on the creative for new campaigns, making sure the brand is still relevant, is still accessible, is still reflecting Eureka, still reflecting what we want to be promoting about Eureka. And then we're always continuing to have stakeholder meetings and interviews as we continue along. So the brand launch I mentioned had a couple physical elements. We hoped the physical element would be a big giant party. That didn't happen, but we had 2 billboards up on 101, big giant City Hall banner. We had a resilient Eureka banner and some little pins that we distributed to kind of highlight, the resiliency of Eureka during this time and, all of Humboldt County. Our digital elements were kind of the big push. We reskinned the visiteureka.com website and social media handles. We launched a resilienteureka.com website that featured a brand launch video. It had Zoom backgrounds, ways for folks to get engaged with the brand. We did a really fun thing, a Snapchat scavenger hunt. Now, I'm not sure if any of you use Snapchat. I have it on my phone, but I don't use it too often. But what we did was geofence certain areas in Eureka, like the Carson Mansion, Eureka Theater, Sequoia Park Zoo. And so folks, if they went into those kind of geofenced regions, if they kind of physically walked into them and pulled up Snapchat, they could access these little like icon overlays of the landmark. They were illustrated overlays of the landmark. And that actually got a ton of traction. Folks were really excited about that and went out and found them and shared them out. So that went really well. We did some Instagram wallpapers and Facebook profile frames. So you could add like a little we have like a Victorian wallpaper as part of the Eureka brand. And you could kind of put that around your Facebook photo. So that was part of the brand launch. So we did a lot of things to kind of shift from a big party to a lot of ways folks could interact with the brand digitally. We also did a number of other things beyond the brand launch with the city of Eureka last year. We worked with the city on media coverage for the Wyatt land transfer. This was something really, it was one of the first times that a city has done something like this, and we wanted to amplify that and share the good work that Eureka did. So the story was picked up by AP and Reuters. It ran all around the globe. 58 national and international stories, reached a cumulative audience of 2.19 billion viewers, and it's estimated to have resulted in total article engagement of 3.26 million people. So really we're able to get that message out there. We also submitted Eureka for the Sunset Magazine Dreamtown feature in March, and Eureka won the social responsibility category. And the city dedicated a whole kind of half page to the city of Eureka and to Betty Chin. So that was an excellent way to get Eureka's name out there. We also helped with the HGTV hometown takeover application. So Eureka we had some community members and council members that said, hey, we think Eureka would be a great candidate for this HGTV show. Great, so we created a community response, did a social media campaign around it, and submitted a video. Well, we didn't win. The show's based out of Mississippi, I believe, and they chose a winner in Alabama, a little bit closer to home. Again, COVID things going on, but they did ask us to use, there's a little clip that I got to go up on the ladder truck, the fire ladder truck, and like take a little video down of all the city employees holding up signs that said hometown Eureka. So they wanted to use that clip in their promo. So it hasn't started airing yet, but again, that's still some exposure for Eureka. And then with the Visit Eureka website, there's been great performance improvements. Website traffic is up, length of stay is up by 300%. So that means people are coming to the website and finding content that they are interested in, that tells them everything Eureka has to offer. So that's very encouraging. COVID obviously was a game changer in terms of strategy, visitation trends, local community comfort about having visitors in, and safety concerns. So we're really trying to balance all of that. We're in constant conversations with the city. We're evaluating research and data, listening to what local folks are saying, what visitors are saying. So we did adjust the brand a little bit. We were going to really go hard into Eureka as the market and cultural center. We have lots of events, lots of things going on. Well, we've had to shift that a little bit. We still are positioning Eureka as that market and cultural center of Humboldt County, but focusing more on the access to all of our amazing natural assets and remote beaches and redwood forests. And I'm sure all of that makes sense. I'll just run really quickly through some of this, right? We don't butt up right against the end of the hour. So when we started the project, folks said, oh, our feeder markets are X, Y, and Z. And we said, awesome. How do you know that? And there wasn't a good answer. It's a lot of it is, yeah, I mean, people come from Sacramento, they come from Redding, like we know this. Okay, well, we really wanted because we're so data driven, we wanted to use data to inform our advertisements, inform our investments, inform how we're marketing and who we're marketing to. So we did cell phone data research on travelers and tourists to Eureka. So how this works, it aggregates data, so it's not like picking out individual people, it's looking at trends and then looking at their census data where they live, and extrapolating that to demographic attributes of that census area, and then that gives us a lot of really great information. So we looked at folks that it's kind of strange, but their phones do not sleep in Eureka, they sleep outside of Eureka, so that's their nighttime location, they're not in Eureka, so we know they're not from Eureka. And then we looked at folks whose daytime location, again, is not inside of Eureka. So where they work most likely, where their cell phone lives most of its day at work or at night is outside of Eureka. For visitors, we wanted them to be in Eureka at least 4 hours because we know they're not just driving through, grabbing a burger and heading on out. If they're spending 4 hours, they're probably doing something more tourist related. Could be business, of course, but most likely tourist related. So we took all of that and got some really interesting insights. Overnight visitation, I have my PowerPoint on a little portion of my screen, so excuse me as I peek in a little bit. So, none of this is too surprising, but it's just really good to have this data so then it can inform all of the activities we're doing going forward. So our largest feeder markets are, not surprising, San Francisco, Oakland, Sacramento, Chico, Redding. All of these areas are where folks are coming to spend overnight trips. And then we also have our day tripper locations. Again, not too surprising here, San Francisco, Oakland, Chico, Redding, Sacramento, Stockton. And you will see Eureka, California on both of these. That's the Eureka metro area, so that's folks outside of the city. So it could be Humboldt County folks. We're also interested in seeing where visitors spend their time when they come to Eureka. So we kind of did the same geofencing kind of thing around all of these points of interest. Unsurprisingly, Old Town and Waterfront has the largest amount of visitation. But what we saw is some of the other local treasures like Sequoia Park Zoo, Henderson Center, the newly upgraded city golf course, and even photo opportunities in front of Carson Mansion, they were not yet being promoted to their full potential. So we really saw, and we see that there's some kind of low-hanging fruit that can be leveraged to move people around the city more effectively. So you can see that, obviously historic Old Town Waterfront is the largest, but Woodley Island has a pretty large amount of people. So if people are driving over to this area and spending time in Eureka, what we want to do is make it really easy for them to discover all of the opportunities that Eureka has to offer to move beyond that Old Town area to, well, number one, get off 101 and see that there's stuff beyond that, but to begin exploring all of the different regions of Eureka to increase length of stay. That's the whole point in all this. COVID has shifted a lot of traveler priorities, and a lot of it has been to Eureka's benefits and Humboldt County in general. Locations with outdoor rec, beaches, mountains, national parks, they're in highest demand. Again, unsurprisingly, folks want to get out of these big giant cities and come to areas like ours safely. That's the whole goal, and everything that we're doing and promoting, we're requesting that travelers, respect all of our local health guidance and mask up and just be safe when they're here. So nationally, most people are looking for rural destinations within a 500-mile radius of home. And so for us, that's a feeder market of 132 counties across 5 states and more than 28 million people. So we're kind of in a sweet spot during this COVID-19 pandemic, if you can be in a sweet spot. And folks are thinking that this is going to last all the way through, next year. We might start to see some things go back to normal, but everyone that had international trips planned or even domestic flights, they're changing those trajectories and saying, okay, what if I drive? And Eureka is well positioned to be one of those locations. So I'll move on to our activities. We're almost done here. So right now we're focusing on the Resilient Eureka campaign. So that's promoting Eureka's businesses and restaurants to our locals, to folks that happen to come up. We created new graphics for the Eureka Visitor Center, so to bring everything in line with the new brand. So say someone's on our website, they're seeing the brand in life, or they're seeing the brand digitally, then they come visit the Eureka Visitor Center and they see the same brand. So whether they make that connection, the point is that it feels like an integrated experience. Even our COVID-19 signs, that say, social distance, wear your mask, they're kind of sprinkled throughout Old Town. Those are branded in the same brand. So it's all of that integration that creates a more cohesive visitor experience. We're continuing to publish content on our Visit Eureka. We're doing social media posts, but we're not doing outside of the area promotion. As soon as we can, the Skywalk, the Redwood Skywalk, we're very involved with the branding and promotion of that. I can give you a very brief update on that. The health department is set right now, this is all tentative, to come do an inspection early November. Then they're doing a Redwood Skywalk 100, it's a donor event where the first 100 people able to go up. They already donated. They can't get in anymore, but those donors will be able to experience it firsthand. Then we're going to be doing some visitor experience testing through December, and then hopefully everyone can go up at the beginning of January. This is all contingent on health department and COVID and how all of this goes, but more on that in the future. We're continuing to work regionally on collaborations with Visit California. And then we're working on building out our media library. So we're doing photo shoots, we're getting videos, we're just kind of stockpiling all of that. And then as soon as we can, we'll launch into digital advertising. We're talking about doing a 101 teaser billboard, maybe down in the Bay Area, do some more heavy PR marketing and earned media. And then right now, if you happen to be dining out in Eureka, you might see these little table tents. We're doing a Dine Out Eureka campaign, social media campaign, to encourage visitors and residents to be supporting our local restaurants. So they tag us at Visit Eureka on Facebook and Instagram. They use the little Dine Out Eureka hashtag, and then we're giving away little Eureka swag gifts. So we have some pint glasses and COVID fashion little pandanas and some little buttons. So we're going to be giving those away. And that's also a way for restaurants to share out their menu, their hours, and any COVID-19 related info. And we're just going to be amplifying that. The whole point of this is to amplify the support of residents and visitors and encourage others to do the same. And then my contact information is here. I'm e.kirsch@eddiealexander.com. You can also find my info at eddiealexander.com. And again, thank you very much for letting me chat and take up part of your morning. And if there's any questions, I'm happy to answer.
Awesome. Thank you, Emily.
Of course.
Any questions for Emily this morning?
I have a quick question. Sorry.
Yeah.
Emily, this is John Sapper.
Hi there.
Nice presentation, thank you. How does the city of Eureka determine success with this effort, and how do these activities translate into economic activity?
Yeah, so success really will, I mean, the bottom line is increased occupancy, increased transient occupancy tax. So we want folks to come in.
Okay.
And spend longer, spend more time. But we also are monitoring, we're monitoring that visitor traffic. So even if folks come in, that cell phone data. Okay, so now we'd like to see folks moving around Eureka. So not just going to Old Town Waterfront, but if we're successful in promoting all the other assets, and we're going to start seeing people use more of those experiences. Success is the Visit Eureka website performing well, folks finding the content engaging, and then success is the social media channels performing well. And then as we really get into, launch like an actual campaign with earned media efforts, it would be earned media placements in magazines and on blogs and anywhere that travelers would be looking for information. We'd like to get Eureka out there. So there's a couple different ways that we measure success, and we adjust those as needed. Obviously, COVID has a big impact on everything that we're doing. So we're just continuing to work together with the city to determine what that looks like during this time.
Yeah. Great, thank you.
Yeah, good question.
Awesome. Anybody else before we do the drawing and get out of here? All right. Emily, thank you so very much for getting up early and speaking with our club. They're applauding. We're doing the sign.
No, I do the same thing. I think there's all this Zoom language we're gonna have to write down somewhere.
Oh no, it's awesome. So yeah, thank you so much for joining us this morning. And hopefully you're able to double dip and get that visiting club meeting for your blue badge. So congratulations. What you said? Which Eureka club?
Southwest.
Southwest. Awesome. Great. Yeah, and I'm really passionate about youth exchange. That was kind of how I got in here. So hopefully we'll see each other more in that avenue, because it is more of like a district thing. So
definitely, I'm really excited.
Right. So I'm going to draw a ticket out of this beautiful mayonnaise jug that's been spray painted. Maybe it's not a mayonnaise jug. Maybe it's a pickle jar. I don't know. All right. Let's see. Who is the ticket this morning? That Rotarian's not here. Let's see. What do we got? Here we go. That just getting everybody that's not here this morning. Walt, you still here, my friend? Walt Giacomini. You could win untold fortunes, my friend. Or Ross, tell me where we're at. Ross here? How much money do
I'm
we have?
waiting with bated breath.
Ross is
Might be,
gone.
might be your lucky day. I don't see Ross, actually. Maybe he had to get to work. It's a lot. I don't think anybody's won yet. Oh, there he is. Okay, what ball will it be? You won the golden ball the first time this year.
The only ball left.
The only
Wow.
ball. There was another one in there.
$150.
How
Wow.
much?
150.
150. Let's give that to whatever Rotary is doing for fire relief.
All right. Maybe the disaster relief fund. I think our district's disaster relief fund would be a great home.
Yeah, I agree with that. That's where we could send it down to the district fire relief fund.
Awesome.
Great.
Walt, you're amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you, Rotarians, for being people of action and helping serve in our community in these challenging times. Is there anything else for the good Rotary, our club in general, or just the world that anybody wants to share before we part? All right. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a wonderful day, and we'll see you soon, all right? Next Wednesday, if not sooner.
Okay, bye.
Thanks, Simon.
Bye.
Thank you.